today we are going to be discussing the books that I really want to read in 2021. Today's video is being sponsored by Disney Book Group. Disney Book Group is sponsoring the Booksplosion January Book of the Month, Alexander Bracken's new novel, and the first book that I want to read in 2021, LaRue. I have been following Alex's writing journey with LaRue since she started it through her Instagram stories. I'm so excited to read it. I love Alexander Bracken's novels. If you haven't read them yet, you've definitely heard of them. She wrote the Darkest Minds trilogy, she wrote the Passenger duology, and now we have LaRue, which is steeped in Greek mythology. It takes place in modern times, and it runs off the premise that 9 gods are forced into mortal bodies where they are being hunted by the descendants of past heroes, and if those descendants kill a god, they get immortality. 9 gods are basically in a fight for their lives as they try to survive on Earth. It is described as a brilliant and breathless twist on classic mythology by Marissa Meyer. Marie Lu calls it an epic from start to finish. From everything I read, this is going to be a very exciting roller coaster of a novel, and I am pumped. Like I said, it is our Booksplosion January Book of the Month, so there will be a Booksplosion live show at the end of the month. We'll be discussing it in detail. Myself, Kat, and Jesse make up Booksplosion. We read a book together with you guys every month and come together to discuss it. So I'm gonna be reading this in 2021. I want to read this in 2021. I'm so excited that it ended up being our book of the month in January. Now I get to read it with all of you. Look how beautiful this cover is. And the inside flaps. Ooh. Ah. There will be links to LaRue and to the Booksplosion socials where you can keep track of what our books of the month are and when our live shows are in the description below. Really hoping you join us for this one. I think it's gonna be a blast. Okay, kick things off with LaRue. So, books I want to read in 2021. There's a lot, and I'm probably missing some. Like, these are the ones that came to mind immediately, and they're not all from 2021. They're not all 2021 releases. Like, this isn't a 2021 new releases I want to read. This is like the books I want to read. So there are old books and there are new books. I've technically started my 2021 reading already because I start counting books as 2021 reads from the point I film my favorite books of 2020 video. And I've read 2 books since then, and they were fantastic. 3 books since then. So I've got a jump start on my 2021 reading. Those books are When Dimple Met Rishi, which was absolutely delightful. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which was our Booksplosion December book of the month. We did a discussion video about that on our Booksplosion YouTube channel if you want to check it out. I have so many feelings about this book. Like, it was really heavy, really intense, really upsetting. There's just a lot to say. I said my piece for it in that live show on Booksplosion. I know a lot of people didn't like it, not because it's a bad book. It's because it hurts. It like burns to read it. The protagonist is not even an anti-hero. He's just a villain. You're seeing how his mind works, and it's really upsetting and dark. I think she did a really good job with it. But what a year to put it out! 2020. That's why it took me so long to read it. 2020 hurt so much already. Like, to add this on, the mirroring of the darkest parts of people in power in our society was horrifying in a way that, like, I didn't need that. I already have it in the news every single day of my life. I'm witnessing it. I didn't need to see it. Maybe in another year this would have gone over better. It would have hurt less. I don't know. I had very passionate feelings. You want a piece of art to pull passion and emotions from the reader, and it did that. It accomplished that. So I read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes as, quote, 2021. It's included on my 2021 does this make the list of best books list for next year. The third book I've already read in 2021 is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which was absolute perfection. What an experience. I did the audiobook and it was so good. This made me feel so much, and I couldn't do a book talk because I am like drowning in other things right now. I took notes so I could talk about it at a later time. It moved me. I felt so many things. You have to read it. This is an adult novel. I don't want to tell. Just read it. You don't need to know what it's about, really. But it's about a girl. I don't want to tell you. It's nice just to go into this. Like, all I knew when I started this was the title. And I think that's enough to go on. Just read it. It's excellent. This is my first V.E. Schwab book. I need to catch up and read her entire collection of work now. I haven't read any of them, but I own them all because I know I want to read them. It's time to prioritize. It's fucking time. This blew me out of the water. It would have been on my 2020 list. It will be on my 2021 list. And when I say list, I mean of favorite books of 2021. When Dimple Met Rishi is a book that I've been wanting to read so bad for so long, like since it came out in 2017. I remember thinking, like, I want to read this. It was never something that struck me on the bookshelf. Oh, it's time. Like, I feel it. This is it. I want this. Until this past month, I saw it and I was like, I want to read that. It is time. I feel it. And I enjoyed it so much. When you enjoy a book the most is when you're not forcing yourself to read it. It's when you feel it in your soul that that's the one that's calling to you, like that you're in the mood for it, that you want it. I had that experience with Jinglepunk Library and it was the best. And it was the same with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I really wanted to read that book, but I couldn't sit down with it. And then when I asked for audiobook recommendations, some of my friends recommended The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And I was like, oh my God, I can read that with an audiobook and it's gonna be fantastic, as if I read it with my eyes. And I'm so glad that I used it as my cleaning audiobook and then I just like kept cleaning forever because I wanted to keep listening. It was so good. I really believe in, if you can, reading a book when you feel it, because it's so much better that way. I made this list so that like I keep these on my radar, because sometimes you just forget that certain books exist, that you have them on your shelf. I'm not 100% like carving this list into stone, like I will read this in 2021. I want to, and I'm putting it out into the universe, so hopefully like I remember that they're there when I want them. The next book I really want to read in 2021 is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I actually bought the audiobook yesterday and I have already started it. I've only listened to like 10 minutes because I listened to it as I was getting ready for bed, but I'm excited. I've taken a step forward. This is another one where I felt like I really had to read it with my eyes, but then I saw that one of my friends read the audiobook and it was excellent. So I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. We're doing it. I'm so excited. This is about twins. I don't really want to know what it's about. You know that. All you need to know is like, so many people have loved this book this year. They've said it's excellent, excellent, excellent. So why wouldn't we read it? My phone just thinks I'm always talking to him. Bixby on Samsung phone is terrible. I'm never talking to you and always talks to me. Anyway, The Vanishing Half. Just rave reviews across the board. I've been wanting to read it since I think it came out in May or June, and I'm putting it out there. I want to read it in the new year. I'm very excited that I've got the audiobook. I'm gonna do it. Another book that I have the audiobook of already but don't have the hard copy yet is A Sky Beyond the Storm by Someone to Hear, the fourth book in the Ember in the Ashes quadrilogy series. I can't wait to listen to this audiobook. I haven't started it yet because I've been really anxious and I don't want to miss anything. I need to be able to like laser focus, and I just want my head to be more grounded before I jump into it. So excited. I've just heard such great things, so I am just bubbling with anticipation on that one. I really wanted to read that a month ago. I was like really in the mood and I'm just really bummed that it wasn't out yet, but I have it now, and as soon as I feel it, I'm starting it because I know it's going to be absolutely excellent. If you haven't read An Ember in the Ashes yet or any of that series, it's great, and I have book talks for every one of the previous books. I actually went back and watched them, so I was ready. I'm ready to jump in. The next book on my list is My Sister, the Serial Killer. This has been sitting on my shelf when I ordered this. I wanted to read it so badly. I was like, if it hasn't come in the mail yet, don't buy it again. You'll read it when it comes in the mail. I put it on my shelf and I never got to it. And I just, the title is so enticing. Like, I see My Sister, the Serial Killer, and I need that. I need this story in me. I need to remember that it's here waiting when I need a book. That's like the main problem with people who own a lot of books. Like, you want to read so many of them that you forget which ones you want to read the most, and then you forget to read them. It was sitting right here, and I just saw it when I went to make this video, and I was like, oh my God, My Sister's a Serial Killer. I need this. I need to read this. I really, really want to get to this in 2021. And this is another one that like, you don't really need to know what it's about. It says it in the title. Every time I see my yellow pants in frame, I'm like, Christine, why didn't you put on some jeans for this video? I'm sorry it's 2020 still, and I'm stuck in wearing sweatpants every day. Next on my list is an obvious one. Obviously, I want to read this. I cannot wait for Tina by Rebecca Sinclair. It's coming. It's coming in March. It's so soon, and I am so excited. This is the second book in the Last Hours series. I cannot wait. And there's nothing really to say. If you know, you know. If you don't know by now, I don't know where you've been. Go look up Cassandra Clare. She's amazing. I love all her books, and I have book talks for every single one of them. The other obvious one on my list is Sarah J. Maas's new book, A Court of Frost? No. A Cold Court. It's the Nesta book. We've all been waiting for it. What is it called? A Court of Flame? Silver Flame? A Silver Court of Flame. There's a court in the title, and I think there's silver and flames. I think it's a Court of Silver Flames. Let's take some bets. A Court of Silver Flames! I got it right. Yeah, I got it right. It is a spin-off of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. It follows Nesta, I believe, as the lead, but everyone's gonna be around because Ness is around everyone, I think. I don't know, we'll see. I like kind of forget about all the characters in that series because it's been so long. It's been over a year. It's been like 2 years at least. I need to refresh myself. I'm gonna have to go watch those book talks again, but I'll be ready. I'll be ready when it's time. Next on my 2021 list, I want to read Dear Justice next year. I really wanted to read this year. I didn't get to it. I adored Dear Martin. It was so well written. It was so concise and it hit so hard. I've been looking forward to this release for so long, and the fact that I didn't get to it burns. 2021. I want to take a day and devour this. Next one on the list is a new, oh my god, this outfit. Am I right? Like, what is this? I don't know. It's so stupid. I'm sorry. But my next one is a new release that's coming in 2021, and that is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I loved Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I've heard already amazing things about One Last Stop. I cannot wait to get my hands on that. If the audiobook is just as good as Red, White, and Royal Blue, I am excited for that audiobook as well. I have now completed the Red, White, and Royal Blue audiobook twice. Just as good the second time, if not better, because like I just feel like I absorbed the intricacies of the story more. The next book on my V.E. Schwab queue is A Darker Shade of Magic. This is part of a series. I have all the books. I just haven't read them. I've been wanting to read this since Caddy Tastic read it and immediately was like, you have to read this. Like, you're gonna love this one. And I was like, yeah, I want to. I'm gonna buy it. And I just haven't ever gotten to it. Because it's a fantasy novel and I just have hard time being like, oh, I want to read a fantasy novel. Like, I know I'll enjoy it once I read them. But they're just never what my brain is like, I'm in the mood for it. Oh, not never. There's an occasional time where my brain is like, fantasy novel. But it's been a couple years since I was constantly like, fantasy novel. I've switched gears and my instant craving is contemporary. But a good fantasy novel is everything, and I cannot wait to read this series. I asked in my Instagram comments, I'm Addie on Instagram. If you want to follow me, please follow me, thanks. But I asked on Instagram on my Addie LaRue post what everyone's favorite V.E. Schwab book was, and a lot of people said Addie LaRue. I'm pointing like Addie LaRue is on the shelf. It's not here, Christine. It's in the pile over there. I'm fine. Everything's fine. 2020 is almost over. This is going live after 2020. It's 2021. Wow. Future Christine, I hope you're doing a little better. I hope everything's a little calmer. Take a deep breath. So, in the comments, if they didn't say Addie LaRue, the majority of the people said A Darker Shade of Magic. And I was like, oh my god, that correlates perfectly with what Kat said. And Kat and I have a very similar book taste. And when she loves something, usually, like, I trust that I'm gonna love it too. Like, I think we have like a 98% match rate in terms of favorites. So, I'm very confident that I'm gonna love this. The next new release I'm excited to read next year, I've already read it, but I'm gonna read it at least 2 more times next year, and that is, I cannot include this, my new book Better Together, which is coming out June 1st, 2021. I'm gonna listen to the audiobook when it comes out. I'm excited. That's the only way I managed to reread Get It Better since it came out. When it came out when I was on tour, I listened to the audiobook. I had to pause it at times. I was like, oh my god, this is weird. Like, it's very weird reading your book after it's out. You've kind of like mentally started to grow and you're like, oh, I want to change this, or oh, I can't believe I wrote this. Like, stuff like that starts to happen. I love Give It Better, but it's hard to open it because I've kind of closed that chapter of my writing life and moved on to a new chapter, which is Better Together. And that's what I'm in right now. I'm reading it again in January for my first pass pages, and then I'm reading it again when it comes out on audiobook. If you're interested in reading it too, I would highly appreciate you pre-ordering. I know I say this all the time, but just in case you haven't heard yet, pre-orders are extremely important and really help the book in the long run. So if you can pre-order, it is greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for your support if you've already pre-ordered. The characters are 18 going on 19 and 20 going on 21. They're sisters. It's a sister story, but there's also a lot of romance going on, family drama, romance stuff, cutesy stuff, fun stuff. I really love it. I hope you guys do too. The link to pre-order is in the description. It has a double cover. It's just, I'm very excited about it. Next on my list is Forkin' Midnight Sun. Yes, I have not finished it. I'm on like page 380. I think there's like 10,000 pages. I think I picked it up for a second in October and I was like, this is it. I'm gonna finish it now. And then something else came up and I was like, shit, I can't finish it right now. I'm vlogging it. I have so much footage. So whenever I finish, I'm gonna get to put together that video and it's gonna span so much time. It's gonna be so much fun to look back on the old footage. But I haven't gotten there yet. I wanna get to a point where I can enjoy it. Like I said, I wanna have that mood where I'm like, yes, this is what my soul wants right now. Because I love Twilight. Like, it is my life-changing read that brought me to the world of YA and YouTube. So like, it means a lot to me. It's not just the story that means a lot to me. It's like everything, the friends I've made, experiences I've had, all like trickle back to Twilight, so it's precious to me. And I want to be able to like revel in my love for it while I'm reading it and not feel like I'm just reading it to get the vlog done. I do want to like hopefully get to it before like the middle of the year, but who knows since I have a book coming out. We'll see! Next on my list, I have Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar. Again, this has just got rave reviews. It's supposed to be adorable and happy making, and I really wanted to get to it this year, and I didn't. I never was in like that place where my soul was like, I'm ready. So it's been sitting on my shelf looking at me, and I've just been like, I want to read you. I'm just like, not there, I'm not there. So once I hit that mood, like I know this is gonna be perfect for that like I want a cozy happy maker mood. I just haven't been there. Beautiful cover. I love this cover. It's wonderful. I love the title, Felix Ever After. It just always reminds me of Isla and the Happily Ever After, and then like Pizza and the Happily Ever After, that joke from the pun challenge that Natasha and I did back ages ago. You probably haven't seen it because it's old, but it was really fun, and this just reminds me of like fun times, that title. Long story short, I want to read this and I hope I get to it. The next new release I have on my list is the third book in the Curse So Dark and Lonely trilogy that I am loving. It had been so long since I felt so strongly for a cast of characters that weren't from like a Cassie Clare or Sarah J. Maas book. I feel like I just said that in another video, but like I hadn't. I got so attached, and I love the first two books, and I can't wait to see how it wraps if it's a trilogy. I'm not 100% that it is, but I'm excited for this book. I'm pumped. I'm so pumped. I want to read all of Zendaya Menon's books. Next year, my goal is to read these aren't really goals, these are like intentions. You want to be open to other reads, not just stick to a list. I keep saying stuff like that, but it's true. Like, you don't want to lock yourself in. But you want to have intentions to finish the things you really want to finish. I want to read all her books. The next one is from Twinkle with Love, and now that I've read When Dimple Met Rishi, I can read this one because I think they all kind of connect in that universe. I have all of them. I have them all on my shelf. I'm ready. I just gotta read them, and I'm excited. They're all rom-coms. They're right up my alley. I know I'm gonna love them. I just gotta remember they're there when I'm ready. And the last book on my books I want to read in 2021 list has not come out yet. It is the third Skyward novel. Again, I'm not sure if this is a trilogy or more by Brandon Sanderson, but Skyward was just excellent and so much fun. It's about a girl going to pilot school, and you're kind of training with her to be a pilot on this planet in this kind of like sci-fi future where humans are constantly battling basically genocide by whatever alien force is outside the planet. So pilots are very, very necessary. Her dad was a great pilot who famously abandoned his crew, so she has fighting an upward battle in her quest to be a pilot. So she's real good. And she has to work with her classmates because they're going to be a fleet together. And then the second book had a completely different vibe, but I loved it. It was less of like the friend group antics and more of her going on this separate quest and learning all this vital information that they will need to not be eradicated as a species. I'm excited to see where 3 goes. Like, the first 2 have had like completely different vibes. I know some people didn't like the second one, and I think it's because they were expecting all the friends to be back together and like those dynamics, which I love. This was really interesting, and if you gave it a chance, at first I was like, oh, I can't believe she's just going off by herself. But as I leaned into it and saw what we were doing, I really just loved seeing everything from this new and different perspective that we got. Yeah. Excited for the third one. And that is my list of books I really want to finish / read in 2021. I'd love to hear like your top 5 books you want to read in 2021. They don't have to be 2021 releases. They could just be something you really want to read that you haven't gotten to yet. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, Lore is our Booksplosion January book of the month. The link to get it is in the description below, and the information about our Booksplosion live show will also be in the description. Subscribe to our Booksplosion YouTube channel where our live shows are every month, and we also do Dear Booksplosion where we focus on a certain like random topic about life and chat with y'all in the live stream. It's super fun. I'd love if you join us over there. My name's Christine. You can follow me on Twitter at xteenme or on Instagram. My book that are together is available for pre-order now. It comes out June 1st, 2021. Thank you for being here. I will see you soon. Goodbye.